Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed candidates and valued participants of this debate, welcome to the hot seat panel. This is the African Motives Media for the position of Sports and Entertainment Secretary. Today we gather here to scrutinize these guys. We want to know their aspirations, their plans and visions they have for the comrades of the institution. So I want you to join me in welcoming them onto this hot seat panel. My name is Papa Graham. I'll be the moderator for this short interview. So starting from my far left, you'll start by introducing your name, introducing yourself by telling us your name and maybe your course and the year you are in.
Okay, my name is Johan David. I'm currently in my third year and I'm pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in Land Resource Planning and Management.
I'm Edward Morris, an engineer in the making, pursuing electrical engineering 2.2.
So I'm Edwin Bildad, biostatistician. I'm in my second year, second semester.
Thank you so much, our esteemed candidates, for the good introduction. We shall directly dive into the questions, and beginning with my far, or on my right, or my near right, maybe the first question. Hope you are ready for my question. How do you plan to ensure that the welfare of the members in matters pertaining to sports and entertainment? Like, what specific initiatives or policies will you implement to address their needs and their concerns?
Oh, thank you for the question. It's a good one because it's the core thing for me as the Sports and Entertainment Secretary. So first, I'm the chairman of the committee of the Sports and Entertainment. Through this committee, we are able to bring up the challenges, the issues we are facing in the sports and entertainment docket, after which I have the opportunity to appear before the Department of Sports meeting as the student representative there. So for me to counterpart these issues, I must have a strong committee. And therefore, the policy and strategy I'm going to use to tackle this is coming up with a committee of the victims who are directly affected. Like for instance, the committee comprises of 6, 3 from the games and 2 from the entertainment and 1 person who is an overseer. So through this, I think we won't be speaking one voice. Like if I tell them we are doing this, at least you have some people tell you, no, it's the other way, because they know what they are going through. And when we come up with a compiled report on this, it will be very substantive, and the possibility of it being thwarted when we move to the necessary avenues to solve this problem, we get like we have one voice which is very strong. So I'll tackle it through the committee. I'll come up with a committee that is very, very aggressive to these issues affecting us.
Thank you so much for that answer. The same question goes to Johan. How do you plan to ensure the welfare of members in matters pertaining to sports? Like, what specific initiatives or policies will you implement to address their needs and concerns?
Yeah, so understanding the problems that masses face is very difficult as an individual. If I say I'm going to be in my office and I know the problem is difficult, so first we'll have to come up with an online platform where we can communicate clearly and have open channels with the students so that we can get solicit feedback from them to understand any problems that they are facing. You know, yes, I might play baseball, but I'm familiar with the problems we're facing at our baseball team, but I might not know what role bowler are facing. So what better way than to use social media to get to know the students' welfare, how they're faring on, and whether they need any assistance in a specific area. Yeah.
To Maurice, the same question. What specific initiatives or policies will you implement to address the needs and concerns of this body?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mandela, for the question. And as the incoming CS Sports and Entertainment, one, we must reach out to the concerned, the esteemed comrades, the sportsmen, because one, the challenges are very evident. I'm a sportsman, I've been there, and in coordination with the sportsmen, the comrades, through the committee, through my people, so we reach out, and from the feedback, we know how we can help.
Okay, thank you so much. Remember, this is the hot seat, and today we have the sports and entertainment secretaries aspirants, and we are here to grind them so hard so that we might know who is much conversant with what they are going for. The second question, which is one of the best questions, Maurice, you're going to start us off. Most of the time, developing a comprehensive sports and entertainment policy is crucial for the smooth functioning of an association. My question comes, can you outline your approach sorry, to formulating such a policy, and how, and again, how you intend to involve stakeholders in the process?
Please may pardon the question.
My question is, I started by explaining that developing a comprehensive sports and entertainment policy is crucial for the smooth functioning of an association. So my question comes, can you outline your approach to formulating such a policy, and how you intend to involve stakeholders in the process?
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, for the question. One, for me to develop a policy, the first thing I must ensure is that the policy is functional and it will be able to solve most of the problems or most of the challenges that have been faced. So the number one key thing is first to seek from the comrades, the sportsmen, to seek the relevant issues that they might be facing so that we know what to tackle and how to tackle them. Then on the matter of involving the stakeholders, number one, we must do a thorough review before. We must know who we are working with and why we are working with them. We must do a very good background check on them so that we see on their delivery and if they've been able to accomplish most of the things, so that before even we incorporate them into any business, we are sure that we are dealing with the right people.
Thank you so much. The same question goes to Bill. That did you get the question?
You can as well.
I can as well repeat the question. I said developing a comprehensive sports and entertainment policy is crucial for the smooth functioning of an association. So can you outline your approach to formulating such a policy, and how you intend to involve stakeholders in the process?
Okay, thank you for the question. So for the smooth functioning of the policy, the union has been facing, like, there are a lot of things that always fail to take place due to budgetary constraints. And when we talk of stakeholders, there are those who will chip in under negotiable conditions to see how they come of it. They get some bit is to advantage to them, and I'll always ensure that on the bargain, much of the advantage is on our students. So first, for instance, like we understand the digital marketing staff, when they reach out to school, universities, a population of many students. So by any chance they come, I'll have to have a bargaining ground on whatever they'll do in a way that affects each and every person within the institution, but not me as an individual. So in as much as I'll be bargaining with them, I'll bargain as a representative of a community, and that's students, and especially the sports department. And in a way, those of us who are talented are also favored. So in the bargaining grounds with the stakeholders, I'll always ensure that in as much as they'll be going, whatever they'll be leaving us behind is something that is of great impact to the comrades.
Thank you so much. The same question to Johan. Did you get the question?
Yes, I did.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, we need to understand that when we are implementing a policy, this is something that is a law that will benefit the students' interest. And as I told you, we have to focus on the challenges that they are facing. So the first thing will have to be to solicit feedback from them on identifying any problems that they need to be worked on. For example, we'll have people who have started businesses in the school. So you find that they are not acknowledged in the school. So what policy can we implement? A policy where we can have even our own JPAT open markets during events. So even the students themselves can partake in the event activities, and it will be beneficial to the whole community. And that's a policy that will even be inherited by the regimes to come in. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Remember, this is the hot seat debate, We are having the sports and entertainment secretaries, aspirants, and we are here to grind them so hard. Maybe just a quick one. You're vying for this position. Maybe if you mention the challenges that the previous regimes have been facing, real life challenges, like you mentioned, this has happened, and how you're going to tackle such a challenge. Maybe if you have the chance to step into the office, starting with Johan.
Okay, so there are many challenges, and the main challenge we'll obviously acknowledge is that there are financial constraints when it comes to us public institutions. But I think that we shouldn't limit ourselves to that title, because remember, it's all about marketing these days. If we have institutions and we have a student community who are active in whatever activities they participate in, for example, yes, the sports and entertainment, but how can we be recognized outside the university so that we can also attract brands to come and support us in the activities we need? For example, yes, we have financial constraints, but you find that our facilities are not up to are not at par with other public universities. So how can we work on them? We can redirect the attention we give the concerts that we get from, when a brand approaches our university, the first thing we tell them is that we need a concert. You can hold an activity to market your brand at the student center or the pavilion. But when the semester ends, we still have the same problems that we complain about because the school doesn't have funds. But we can redirect that attention to the development of sports facilities, the funding of various activities for the clubs and societies in the school, and in that way it will be very beneficial, to the student community.
Maurice, the same question.
Yes, thank you so much. For anyone who has been active in sports, for any comrade who plays any sport, the main challenge, and a stand to be corrected, is that there's no outreach within the sports sector. Sports in JKUAT is becoming a dead end, and one is because it's not that the comrades don't want to engage or they don't know how to engage. It is because the comrades don't know when and where the engagement is supposed to be. So this challenge extends to the regime. You've asked how that some of the challenges that the regime has faced. You find that even when the regime tries to push for something to the administration or when we want to source for something, there's no seriousness back then in the sports sector. It becomes a very difficult thing. It becomes very difficult to be able to source or to harness for something that there's no seriously in it. So the first key thing is that I have to check on the outreach to make sure the comrades know of the activities and that the comrades are able to invest in the activity. With that being, it will be easier to source for, be it the sponsorships, be it for the funding, anything else. But the number one key thing we must seek on the outreach to make sure the sports and the entertainment sector in JKUAT becomes diversified. Thank you.
Will, that the same question.
Okay, thank you. So first, the sport and the entertainment. Those of us who are involved as students. So it's from the ground as it rises up. To mean when there is dormancy down, like less students are engaged in sports, less students are engaged in the entertainment sector. It becomes like I have no ground to stand on when I present my issue to the office. Like they see, we haven't mobilized a good ground. And to do this mobilization, so for me, this is the approach I'm going to use, like to sensitize our students on how they can engage in sports. Because one way, you find like I understand the other time, and even now it's happening, for you to participate in sports, if you are not determined, of course you'll be determined, committed, but if you don't have something within you, like for instance, comrades engage in sport at their personal expense, but then this is something that should be happening, and we understand we pay fee for it. And when a budget is run, it's always run in consideration of this. So any game recognized by the institution, it's supposed to be funded and get all possible facilitations that it needs. So as the Sports and Entertainment Secretary, in reference to JKUSA, at the beginning of every 2 weeks, we are always entitled to write a list of the events that should be taking place. So when a budget is run in consideration of this. So through this, when done in time and with the active committee of those who are directly affected, at least we'll see on how to boost our students when it comes to sports and also the entertainment sector.
Thank you so much. All or each one of you has mentioned the issue to do with the committees. My question comes as the chair of the Sports and Entertainment Committee. What criteria are you going to use to select your committee members? Or how will you ensure their effectiveness in fulfilling their roles? We start with Let's start with Morris.
Thank you so much. So, number one, as the chair of the Sports and Entertainment Committee, number one, for me to choose an effective committee, I must invoke or I must incorporate those who are directly involved. Most of the time, you check most of the people who sit on these committees are mostly the political gainers, the people, let's say, who happen to support the CS during the campaigns. It's a sort of rewarding of loyalty. But you find that most of these people, they don't know the direct activities that the sportsmen face. So the number one key thing, in my committee, I must incorporate the sportsmen, a representative from the sportsmen, so that the person who is on the ground level, the person who knows what happens and what is going on. And I also must incorporate a serious figure, a key person, someone who can help me and who can tell me when I'm doing the wrong thing and will guide me in the right direction. So I will be very key in scrutinizing my committee, and one, I will also involve comrades to help me scrutinizing my committee. Thank you.
Maybe just to ask you a quick one, it means you're not going to repay loyalty or not going to put any member of your team in your committee?
You have misread my answer.
Make me understand.
I've said one, most of these people, they're usually the political rewardees.
Mhm.
I've said one, I must make sure I have someone who is on the ground level, not all, someone who is on the ground level, who has been there directly involved, so that at least we have someone who knows and is following keenly from the ground level.
Thank you so much. The same question to Johan.
So when I'm formulating a committee, I think that part of what's mandatory is that I should have people who are members of the Congress, yes, and we can't select individuals that don't partake in the sports and entertainment activities that happen in the institution. So it's better to also have face representation of these activities in our campus. But that doesn't mean that we should limit ourselves to only the main campus, because we have other satellite campuses, and I'm aware that the sports and entertainment position has been evoked from these satellite campuses. So it's important that we also involve our chair, one or two from the other satellite campuses, so that even when we have a committee in our main campus, we know that we are also catering for the other satellite campuses who also have students just like us. And in the same way, we can't have people who don't actually participate in any sporting or entertainment activity, because we can have a representation of someone who is in charge of the Usani Umati in student center, and we can have someone who also plays rugby or football. But all in all, we need a representation of all these dockets, so that we can form a committee that is very reliable, and we don't have to guess on the decisions we're going to make, but as well there will be a representation of the student population. Yeah.
Build at the same question.
For me, the criteria I'll use to formulate the committee. First, if I happen to be there as the sports and entertainment secretary, I'll invite my worthy competitors to join me in the committee, because the idea that I had combined with Maurice's idea and John's idea, that will be a step ahead. So from that point, I'll now reach out to individuals who are directly affected, because if they had pure intention as to lead the docket, when I involve them in my committee, I believe it now is going to be a very vibrant one. Then second, I move to the victims who are directly affected in the sports sector, after which I'll have an oversight here, somebody who is neutral, neither he is in sports or entertainment, but at least can bridge these two things to work in a way that the sports sector and the entertainment sector are both running at equilibrium. No one is looked down upon, no docket is looked down upon. And actually, if we see the challenges we've been facing in the sports sector, is because of the underration in the sports, which leads to the many problems in the sports sector. So for me, that's a formulation that I'll have to use given the opportunity to run there. I'll have to engage my worthy competitors, because the ideas Johan had will be of great impact when now we combine heads. Yeah.
Thank you so much. For the past years, the sports and entertainment docket has been believed to organize events. And as you are aspiring for this position, if you get a chance to be in the office, how are you going to make sure that these events are beneficial to the comrades? Beneficial in this manner, a comrade can get some good funds or some a sustainable way of making a living from an event rather than just going there, partying the whole night and waking up in the morning and continue the normal life. So how are you going to ensure that these events are in a way unique from the past events, or are they just going to be the normal events we've been having, starting from John?
Yes, as I told you before, another way how we can diversify these events and even bring inclusivity within our campus is, remember that I told you we have people in this school who have startup businesses. We have people walking around with selling lollipops, mabuyu, and you find that's a very big challenge to our school. Here, that might show that there are some individuals who are struggling, and what better way to involve them than during events. And these events, we can let them have their own JQuat open market, because experience is the best teacher. And I've learned from, you can look at Strathmore University, these guys also always have an open market where they involve the students to set up tables involving their startup businesses and market themselves and build themselves. And this is something that is going to be very practical for JQuat. And I'm not saying we have crazy hawking during events, but we can have limited slots, maybe 40, who are the first ones to register, who will partake in that event, in selling their goods and their items, as well as bringing fun activities to involve the school. It's not just about the partying and the artists, but it's also about the community. And that is beneficial to those who have businesses. But we also have to remember that we can't neglect the clubs and societies and also sports teams, which are dying over time. So we can also let them have their own table and their own space to carry out their recruitment activities, because once you join JQuat, the only day you'll find Red Cross Club advertising themselves is when the first years are reporting. But it's something that can change, as I told you, with a policy.
Thank you. Going to Morris, then Bildad.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. One, as per the question, it seems to ask how we'll be able to make sure that the people who are struggling, how we can incorporate them during the events. One, as the Sports and Entertainment Secretary, I'm working for the comrades, and I'm advocating for leadership that listens and brings comrades' ideas to the table. So one thing, we can't deceive ourselves. If you check on these events, mostly we have limited events in JQuat, and mostly our events are usually during the wee hours, from let's say evening hours to night hours. So there's no way we can deceive ourselves that, let me say during an event, I want to tell comrades to come sell out your properties. But what you can do is that you can incorporate different events. One, we'll make sure we've got those events for entertainment. Yes, where people come, they do some enjoyments. There, we help the comrades. Here, what you can do during the entertainment events, one, is that we can help broaden and diversify comrades' talent. For those comrades who've got some talents, the singers, the dancers, the content creators, here is where you can give them a platform to come showcase their talent. Then we can also incorporate other events, giving extended hours, where apart from the entertainment, now we can incorporate the business of the comrades, because you cannot put all your eggs in one tray. And this is also depending on the school policy and also the hours of the event. It can't be something that will be manageable, let's say during one event and during the stipulated hours. But we can incorporate different events to cater for all this. Thank you.
Bildad.
Oh, thank you for the question. Talking of comrades' empowerment as far as events is concerned, for me, we know the obvious events that have been taking place, but how are we going to make them be different from the others that have been happening? In a way, our comrades feel considered. So for me, we understand that for an event to take place, there are a lot of activities that happen. First, the labor will be needed. I'll ensure that labor comes from the comrades. And talking of this labor, is something that will be done with transparency. Through this, a comrade will get something for the day. Secondly, we have events that have been happening, but the inclusivity in it has been of the external artists. So I feel it better when we use this opportunity to build our artists from within, so at least we can now take them to the world. You see, when you take somebody who is outside the world or is already hustling to come to students, is like we are thwarting the talent that we have within our school. So I see it's a way like our students who are within us, who are showcasing their talent, in a way we give them the platform so that they can, now the people we send them outside in a good way. Then again, secondly, with the events that been happening, like for example, hosting a media house within our school, we can take this opportunity to at least bargain with them to spare some time for our students, maybe doing mass communication, journalism. At least they get that opportunity to interact with those who are already in real work outside there. About there, we have helped them already. Then secondly, another thing we'll do, like event for us with our students, it's very cheap. It's not that much expensive. Then when we do an event with an external artist, it will cost a lot, but we've benefited the guy outside there. So when we do this impact within our students and at least get some token for them, at least we'll have impact in their life. In a way, before giving them the cash awards, we engage for a financial talk at least on how to use them, not to use it in a bad way. To an extent, his life is not changed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are coming to the end of this. I know it was sweet, but we have to keep it short. Remember, this is the African Motives Media. I've been your host, Papa Graham, but I'll be so unfair to leave the stage without giving the crowd even one or two. So I want one gentleman and one lady who will, the first one to shoot up your hand to ask a question directed to any of the aspirants. Yes.
Thank you. We have heard your views on what you have been asked, things you're going to do, how you're going to do them, things that you are going to be involved. Now my question is, do you guys understand, you may be understanding it, but just to be sure, I'd like to know your view, your understanding of sports and entertainment, how you view it. Yes, basically how you view it. Because you cannot be an aspirant for a position that you quite don't understand, right? So I want to make the crowd feel that you understand what you're vying for. Yes. So please, do help us understand what sports and entertainment is. In little, as in deeply, a little.
Okay. Thank you.
There is no way you can define something. Yeah, it's sport and entertainment and blah blah blah. But then, do you understand it and how do you feel it and what impact does it have on you?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Maybe 1 minute each. You give us an understanding of your own view of what sports and entertainment. The last person, the last question. There being no any other person, then we shall deal with the question, then we shall call it. Yes, the last question will come from him.
Just a simple question. I would like to ask why each candidate thinks that the best choice for JQuat.
Okay, why you think you're the best choice for JQuat. So you'll handle the questions at a go, the two questions at a go. You start with your view about sports and entertainment, then why you think you are the best candidates for the position, starting from Bildad.
Thank you for the question. My basic understanding of the sports and entertainment docket, this is an office that engages much with the sport affairs and issues of events as far as entertainment is concerned. So my basic understanding on this is like over the years I saw like the sports sector a bit is looked down upon and to an extent led to some challenges that our students who participate in games were facing. But it was not as a result the fault of the administration or fault of the students, but whoever was to act as the intermediate to relay their issues. So they've been missing this platform. So that leads me to answering the second question, why I'm the best candidate for the position. I'll see on necessary preliminaries to do to ensure that these issues are addressed to bring equilibrium in these two dockets, because some time back there were two different offices, but they were brought together. It means there was some sort of familiarity or similarity between them. So I'll see on how to bridge these things that the end goal becomes the same at the comfort of the comrades. That's why I feel I'm the best candidate for this. And also besides I've been taking sports, I know what sports is, and also we should see a way of which our students can make it out through the sports and the entertainment, as much as the academic part might not be giving.
Best candidate for this post. Number one, as a sportsman and as someone who has been there, there are very numerous challenges that I've seen and that I've faced as someone who's been there. And I can say this is a motivating factor that motivated me to vie for this post and to give out myself as an intermediary, to use myself to help change some of these challenges for the comrades. Thank you.
Thank you, Johan.
So understanding what sports and entertainment is, first of all, I'd like to say I'm a member of the JPAT softball and baseball team. And to understand a sport is something that is physically done and it can excite your mind. And entertainment is just a leeway from the books. And why I think that I'm the best candidate for this seat is that I feel that I have a deeper understanding in the organization and the execution of sports and entertainment activities, having gone through many experiences and even through failures and successes. I feel that I'm best suited for this role. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is your response to the questions from the crowd. At this juncture, allow us to come to the end of this very interesting hot seat discussion. And just to be fair, I'll give you 30 seconds each to give your parting shot or your final word to those watching us from home and to those who are present here with us today. Starting from your hand, 30 seconds.
I think that we shouldn't limit ourselves to the capabilities that we have and the opportunities that are out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Maurice.
First, I want to challenge comrades to embrace leadership positions, and to the delegates and to the comrades, I request for your support and please don't waste your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Builder.
Thank you. So for me, my parting thought is that to the delegates, to whoever is a representative, present out yourself there, not as an individual, but a representative of a community. You ensure that whenever you will be voting, vote somebody who will do challenges that your department face, your school face, and your colleges and all face. So be a representative of a community, but not as an individual. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That has been our time here at the hot seat. Remember, this is the African Motives Media in association with the Juja Media Council. We brought to you this exclusive hot seat panel discussion. We'll be coming more and more. We'll be coming with more and more of this. The next debate, we are going to have the health, catering, and accommodation, where we shall share the links and we shall tell you the venue where we shall be having the same discussion. All in all, this is the African Motives Media. I've been your host, Papa Graham. Let's meet the next end.
Hey,